Hello, everyone. My name is Linda O'Nillafor. I am the author of a children's book titled My Brother Adam, A Journey with Schizophrenia. And welcome to Over 60 and Loving It. Okay, so today we're going to talk about part 3 on the disease of schizophrenia. Okay, and so we're going to just jump right in. And we're going to do something different today. We're going to talk about the name. We're going to talk about where does it come from? Why do they call it schizophrenia? Okay. Okay, so the first part of the name is called schizo. And schizo means split. Okay. And the second part of the word is phreny or phrenia, and that means mind. So split mind. Now, when a person has a split mind, because I know you say, well, what is split mind? When a person has a split mind, that person loses touch with reality. Okay. And so what happens is whatever that person perceives to be correct or perceives to be true is not the real truth of the reality. Okay, so I'm going to read you something, and hopefully this will help you to understand it a little better. Okay, so split mind means split off from reality or loosening of thoughts and feelings, or separation between brain functions like their thoughts, their feelings, and separation between the ability to tell the real from unreal. Okay, so that's what the word schizophrenia means. It means split mind. Okay, now I'm looking at my notes here because there's something else that I want to say about that. Sometimes people get schizophrenia mixed up with multiple personality disorder, and that's totally different. Okay. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about was schizophrenia was coined back in 1908 by a doctor from Switzerland, and his name was Paul Bueller, and he was a psychiatrist. He worked as a professor as well, and they said that he was really dedicated to his job. He spent a lot of time with his patients. He studied his patients' behavior, and he just stayed at the hospital, they said, 24/7. It's almost like he lived there. So he was the one that coined the name schizophrenia. Okay. Okay, and so I'm going to give you another example of what can happen when a person has schizophrenia. And it has a lot to do with their feelings. And it says here sometimes people laugh when they want to cry. So can you imagine someone being at a really sad event, and they just start laughing? And that's because their emotions get mixed up. So just imagine having your emotions mixed up. I can't even imagine that. And sometimes, they laugh when they want to cry and they cry when they want to laugh. Okay? And another thing, too, is a lot of times they don't really have a lot of empathy. So let's just say if, there's an event going on and it's a real happy celebration. Let's just say, someone's getting married or someone just had a baby, and it's a really happy time. Well, they might not even show any emotion, or even vice versa. Let's just say if someone was in a really bad accident or something, they might not show um, any emotion, and that's because of their disease. Because that means that their disease has affected their emotions. So that's another thing too that we need to understand. They might not get excited like we do. You know, now in the inside, I'm sure they are excited, but because of their disease, it's hard for them to express it. Okay. Okay, and so in our bodies, there's lots of organs. We have the heart, we have the lungs, we have the liver, we have the kidneys, and we have the brain. And all of those organs can become sick. Okay, and so when our heart becomes sick, they call it heart disease. When our lungs become sick, they call it lung cancer. And when our liver and our kidneys get sick, they call it liver disease and kidney disease. And so when our brain gets sick, they call it mental illness. Okay, and that means mind sick. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing to be ashamed about. And there's nothing wrong with having a mental illness. And so, my goal is to help eliminate the stigma of mental illness. And so that's why I'm doing this video, and I did those other two videos, because I want to help eliminate the stigma of mental illness. Because I think that we don't take mental illness serious. We laugh about it, we joke about it. When people try to tell us that they're hurting, that something isn't right, we just, don't take it serious. So we need to really start taking mental health serious, because it's a very serious topic. And we need to talk about it more. And we just need to just put ourselves in other people's shoes. And so before I go, I'm going to read something. And I'm going to read about two things here. No, I'm going to read three things and this is my Do You Know section. Okay, do you know that most people think schizophrenia automatically makes people violent? This is the exception, not the rule. People with schizophrenia are more likely to be victims of violence by others or harm themselves rather than harm someone else. Now, that's another stigma. Okay. Number two, mental illness is not the result of personal weakness, lack of character, or poor upbringing. As early as 1948, there was a misconception that mothers were responsible for their children with schizophrenia through cold and distant parenting. Isn't that something? Now, that was in 1948. Now they know it is a brain disease. Okay, and the last one that I want to share with you, there are 1,200 college students that take their lives every year in the United States due to some type of mental illness. Okay, so I just want to share that with you guys, and hopefully you guys enjoy my 3-part video on schizophrenia. As I said in the title, my son was diagnosed with schizophrenia when he was 20, and his dad was diagnosed with schizophrenia when he was about 30. And another thing too that I just thought about this. There's a couple of famous people that have been diagnosed with schizophrenia, and I just wanted to kind of mention their names. One is President Lincoln's wife. Her name, I believe her name is Mary Todd Lincoln, and she suffered with schizophrenia. Um, the other person that's well known that suffered with schizophrenia is Donny Hathaway. He suffered with schizophrenia. Um, the other person is John Nash. He was a mathematician, and he suffered with schizophrenia, and they made a movie out of his life. And if you get some time, you should check it out. It's really good. It's called A Beautiful Mind, and it's an excellent movie. It's about a young man who taught math, and he gets this horrible disease, schizophrenia. It's really good. Okay, and then the other person that I wanted to share with you that has schizophrenia was John Hinckley. Um, he attempted to assassinate President Reagan. He suffered with schizophrenia. So I just wanted to name just a few popular people that suffered with schizophrenia because, like I said in my previous video, that it doesn't have any racial or economic boundaries. It affects all walks of life, the rich, the poor, the famous. So I just hope that this video and my previous videos enlightened you. And next week, I'm going to be talking about a different topic. And if you like my channel, I would love for you to subscribe and like. Okay, so thank you very much, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.